I don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello everybody, and welcome into today's video where we're taking a look at the legendary LEGO Beatles Yellow Submarine set from 2016. This was a LEGO Ideas set that was designed by a fan designer, but also by LEGO designer Justin Ramsden, who's done tons and tons of superhero stuff, so it's very topical here on the channel for that. Plus, the Beatles are my favorite band, and this is one of my favorite sets ever. So, this is from 2016. It was out from November 2016 to December 2017. It came with 5 exclusive minifigs that we'll look at here in just a second, and retailed for $60 here in the US. Adjusted for inflation, it would be $78 in today's money. So, wow, that is crazy to think about, but if you're lucky enough to have one of these even loose, they sell for about $160, and if you have one sealed, they can go for around $200. So they've certainly gone up in value quite a bit. There are 550 pieces total here, and the build is so much fun. So let's take a look at everything offered here and get into it. So we get 5 minifigures in this set, which is really cool. Now, if you've seen the Beatles Yellow Submarine movie, a lot of context will be added here, but if you're just a Beatles or a LEGO fan and haven't seen the movie, I'll kind of explain things as we go along. Probably the first and hardest to explain is Jeremy Hillary Boob, who, yes, that's the real name of this character from Yellow Submarine. He is the Nowhere Man in the film. They gave him a little Apple accessory, of course, referencing the Beatles' Apple records, and this was an interesting piece that used to be used in Nexo Nights, so since those sets came out around the same time as this, it was a perfect way to just print that face on there and make Jeremy as a minifig. Now, we do get all 4 members of the Fab Four, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and they come on this really cool brick-built stand with a printed Yellow Submarine tile on the front, so we got an insane amount of value, and each Beatle actually came with an accessory. We'll go ahead and start with John Lennon over here on the left. We've got leg printing on the side for John, which looks really great, different colored legs and everything, and he's got his telescope or periscope from the film. Now, all of the accessories that the Beatles come with are the real-life accessories we see when the actual Beatles appear at the end of the cartoon film in the movie. We've got buck teeth for John on one side, which look really good, and of course we've got the glasses there. And then we've got a closed mouth on the other side, looking just like the cartoon. I do have to admit that I think Paul looks the most like his real-life counterpart, although, of course, these are all based off of the cartoon versions of the Beatles. He's holding a 1x2 tile that has the word love printed on it, which of course is from the film as well. He's got leg printing there, and we can flip that head around to see Paul's face, which once again I think looks a lot like the real-life Paul McCartney, although this is based off of the cartoon, as I mentioned. Up next, we've got George. You know, when we're talking about George, he's got a bit more draw to his voice, and he's talking about India and the sitars. All right, here we go with George. A really great figure, just a little bit of back printing there that looks great, but I don't know if this hairpiece was ever used again. It's really cool the way that it's kind of got like the mullet fanning out in the back, and of course, we get a double-sided head for George that was exclusive to this figure and looks so good. He's holding the engine of the Yellow Submarine, which of course is what he has at the end of the film, and it actually plays into the set a little bit. Then we've got Ringo. I guess I forgot to do Paul's impression. You know, when I showed you Paul, that's the thing. All right, here we've got Ringo, and Ringo's got a great minifigure, yes. I've got a hole in me pocket. We've got a 2x2 round piece here for Ringo with printing on the sides of the legs and a turnaround head that looks really good. Looks quite a bit like Ringo from the Hello Goodbye music video, actually. But this, of course, is his Yellow Submarine version. Speaking of the Yellow Submarine, let's take a look at this set now. So as we can see, there's a little spot built in for Jeremy to stand there. We'll remove him so it's not too distracting, and we have the Yellow Submarine. It's built completely symmetrical on both sides, which is nice. The only thing is, of course, the rudder on the back isn't, like, exactly the same on both sides, so you have exposed studs on one side or the other, but if it really bothered you, I think you could just take it out and flip it around if you wanted to display it this way, if that bothered you for some reason or another, but regardless, oh no. Now I've got to be fixing a hole live on camera. All right, there we go. So the Yellow Submarine is super cool. We can spin the propellers in the back, which looks good. These red hot dog pieces were really cool up top, of course, for that. We've got those periscopes up top, which looks great, and we can remove this entire middle section to reveal a super detailed interior with seats that can fit all 4 Beatles. Now, of course, we have all kinds of interesting printed pieces as well. I don't think that these were stickers. I think they were all printed, but this one on the wall adds some depth, just like we see in the movie with all the pipes and everything. And yeah, really, really cool stuff with all the psychedelic printing. Looking really great. We've got the 1968 on the wall there, of course, referencing a very historic year for the Fab Four with all the clocks from the Sea of Time sequence in the film. And as mentioned, there is a little bit of a functionality that you can open up this and put George's engine sitting in the back. It doesn't really attach to anything. It's just kind of like, if you know, you know. Then, of course, this can go on top, and it just goes like that. So it's a pretty basic set, all things considered, but it makes for a wonderful display piece and really holds up with some of the Beatles models that they've done, like die-cast and other toys and things like that. I think that this is really cool, and I cannot believe the way that they got all the contouring and shaping down to get it to look exactly like the film. The scale is perfect. I absolutely love this set, and as a Beatles fan, sometimes I look at this and literally cannot believe it exists and is real. So let's take a closer look, or rather, let's zoom out and wrap up this video. All right, guys, it's time for us to get back to where we once belonged and wrap up this video. So let me know if you guys have this set or if you had it back in the day. I love this set so much, and it was so fun to revisit all these years later. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.